I was already engaging in self-pleasure before I was even 10 years old. And granted, I didn't have access to the internet or I knew the proper methods, but I found a way. And while it is kind of funny to imagine little Kenny fucking a pillow, it set the stage for a majority of my life. I was exposed to provocative imagery and fapping at quite a young age. If you're afraid, do it afraid. Long term, it's going to addict you and lower your dopamine baseline, which will destroy your motivation. It'll also negatively impact your social skills, mental, emotional health, cognitive function, sexual performance, and much more. But obviously, that never happened to me, so by the time I became aware of the downsides, I was already deeply rooted in an addiction.
Or you can stay and cuddle with me.
No. If you'd like a PDF about the 5 pillars with all the main key points so you can have that reminder easily to access on your phone or computer, there's a link in the description below.
Hello, all of my fabulous, beautiful people. And how are you all doing today? I hope that you're all doing amazing. You look beautiful. Thank you for being here. Hello, Daddy Petty Patch Adams. It sounds weird calling anyone daddy but my husband when I'm talking to my daughter and I am like, Daddy, go talk to Daddy for a minute. You know, anyway. Hello, Iconic. Good to see you. I see you're a little scared. I would be. This guy's an interesting one. Hello, unfucking believable. I'm going to call you believable so that I'm not swearing all the time. Hello, Joe. You're here for the trolls. Like to troll me or to troll the no-fap guy, Kenny here. Yes, his name is Kenny. Do not kill Kenny. We are not doing Simp Park right now, all right? We are doing Kenny's FAP advice, if you will. You live in a state of perpetual fear. Good, yay! We can start now because Petty Patch Adams is here. So I wanted to come on and talk about this amazing channel that I found. Because, as you guys know, I'm constantly looking for the best people that we can cover here. Usually influencers that take advantage of their communities, run cults of personality, join MLMs, and then promote them to their people, do these stupid boss babe courses, and the likes. And the good news is that Kenny's fit here, he incorporates all of the things that I hate into one person. It's amazing. So, patch will work if Daddy is uncomfortable. Thank you. It isn't easy being a raccoon in a modern world. You got that right. Kendall is here. Yay, Kendall is here. So, yes. Poor Kenny here, this Kenny, not our Kendall, this Kenny here. He is literally everything that I do not like about influencers on the internet. Not only does he do these weird videos such as how I grew my arm from skinny to muscular and the likes, but he also is very big into the no fap movement. He also promotes some products that are a little bit iffy, and he runs an entire fitness course and has a whole PDF file with the best advice for not fapping. And yes, we are going to be laughing at a lot of that today. As you can see, this is his YouTube channel. It is at Kenny's Fit. He has 86,000 people. 86,000 people. He only has 129 videos. I have over 1,000, I'm just saying. But this is his about section. Now, he joined back in 2012, all right, and he's got a lot of views. Like, he has 7 million views on this channel. So somebody has come here for this dude's advice at least 7 million times. It's horrifying, but here we are. Hello, Ken. I'm glad that you can be here. Well, he didn't get his arm big in one way, right? We know that isn't why. I may be rounding up birds off and on. I may not see the chat. That's okay. I'm here. Joe's here. We'll be okay. So basically, he says self-improvement and a little tomfoolery. I'm assuming that's supposed to be like what his channel is about. It is the about section. And he says, copywriters and short form editors, please do not email me. And then he has an Instagram and he has a fitness course laid out as his links. And as you see, he has such wonderful videos as Society Has Failed Men, How to Get Ahead of Everyone in 3 to 9 months. Let's go down a little bit. You are the main character. We deal a lot on this channel with people that seem to think that they're always the main character. They have what we call main character syndrome. So Kenny here has come here to let everyone know that they should do it more, I guess. The best one-person online business for 2023. He does a lot of promoting of businesses. He does a lot of like this, how to get ahead of 90% of men, which is going to be one of the ones we're probably going to react to today, things like that. He's all about the fitness lifestyle. And something sort of funny happened because from the time that I was planning this stream until I started the stream, he has yanked his Instagram. Oh my God. It's gone. Like, it's just no longer here. Like, I was like, I'm going to do a stream. We'll go over his Instagram. It was all these amazing Giga Chad like pictures, right? Just dude, shirt off, half naked, totally buff in every single picture. It was beautiful. I've never seen such a Giga Chad wannabe in all my life. But unfortunately, I guess he must have seen this stream and been like, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. And then he deleted his Instagram. So I set up the stream, walked away for a few moments, came back to this, and was like, oh, well, I guess we're not going to be going over that today. So Kenny, please get this Instagram back up and running. I don't know how you could be a proper entrepreneur for the no fat movement and this fitness dude if you don't have Instagram. All of the fitness bro bots are on Instagram. That is where they go and they conquer the whole thing. I can barely even be on Instagram anymore because I hate it. I hate it. All I see on there is scams. It's true. So one of the things that he promotes is this product here, which is from the Jacked Factory. Now, I haven't 100% looked into this yet. Don't worry, we will be in future. But I mean, this is what it says. Kenny is an aspiring content creator. He combines his love for weightlifting and passion for filmmaking on his YouTube. Am I a fucking filmmaker because I make YouTube videos? Can I put that on my resume? Like director, producer, voice actress, parody queen. Is that allowed? I want to know. The Incel chant. He started it by saying no fap. Everything is no fap. But for Anti here, unfucking believable, it's no flap. No flap. I like that better, actually. That's more fun. So he has some products. One of them is greens. Now, if you know me and you know my channel, you know how I feel about these green products, okay? These green superfood powders. It Works has one. A lot of the MLMs out there that do the health and wellness fitness thing have a version of this. And now these guys do as well. Here at the Jacked Factory, they need greens. It's like Popeye, they say. You know, you just down the hatch and then, you know, and you got muscles. Then they apparently have these other two, but it says liquid error, no image. So I'm not really sure what that's about. Kenny, you might want to go and find out because people are going to come here to pick their favorite products and they only have one to choose from. And that's not good. So in future, we're going to be looking into this. But one of the main things that Kenny here likes to do is a fitness course. Oh, yeah. So these are like the pictures. You got this beautiful picture here of him. You don't want to be a character in anyone's delusion. We're characters in all kinds of people's delusions. So this picture on the right side here, where he's all jacked, imagine an entire Instagram of just picture after picture after picture of that. Just imagine that. And that's what this was, essentially. Just hundreds of pictures of him, no top on, all jacked up, the vein showing. That's something I cannot stand. It makes me want to puke. I have this thing, and every time I see it, I'm like, anyway, Kenny Bender, right? This is his fully comprehensive fitness course. And yes, his last name is Bender. Like, don't go on a fap bender. You know, like that. So he says, what I wish I knew years ago. Training. Deploy the best training practices and protocols to maximize muscle gain. Nutrition. Develop your diet to optimize health, performance, and gut function. Supplementation. You know, that's what you need the greens for from the Jacked Factory there. Establish a supplement routine to prevent deficiencies, boost gym performance, and raise testosterone, which, as you know, testosterone is very, very important, especially to the incels and those that do like the this is how you get woman movement and the no fat movement. All of them are connected, okay? Mindset. Develop an iron mind that will increase drive in the gym and boost your mental health. He has such an iron mind that he has to delete his Instagram channel when a content creator with 2K subs covers it. Yeah, okay, Kenny. Understand the supplements and routines that will greatly improve sleep, recovery, and muscle gain because, of course, rest is important. And although, you know, I don't have anything wrong with the idea of him telling young men out here to do training, eat well, rest, have a good mindset, maybe even do the supplementation if they need to. My issue is that the only reason why he is doing this is because he's selling this fitness course. And then alongside it, he's also selling the no fap stuff with it. It very much comes hand in hand. So then he has 3+ hours of video content, 5 training programs, private group message. Don't worry, today we are mainly focusing on the no fap. I just find it interesting that he also has this whole fitness thing. Then he says, I'll see you inside. Put your progress on the fast track today. 2023 is when Kenny's Fit LLC made this website. I'm unsure if it was around before then. When you go to enroll now, look at the fucking price of this shit. Look at it. $200. $200 to be told that you can just work out at the gym, eat well, and etc. $200 for this fitness course. Yup. Filmmaker. Might as well be. I don't want to be a carrot. Oh, I already read that one. Sorry. Just go to Walmart for that crap. It's cheaper there. Do you know what, though? It is. It is. And there are also nutrition places. Like here, down the road from me, we had like Good Life Fitness. And then attached to Good Life, not only do they have a booster juice, which I hate, but they also have one of those nutrition supplement places for people that go to the gym. They can actually go in there and talk to an expert and not have to worry about that person putting money in their own pocket and their ethics flying out the window to teach things. I just worry when influencers out here that are making content are also selling stuff like this, as I have talked about on here for going on 4 years. So this course is $197 US. All right. And it says fully comprehensive fitness course and 5 training programs. So yes, he's out here. He's out here and he is selling these training programs. And yes, I have a bit of an issue with it. I do. And so I was like, what's Kenny all about here? As an influencer, a filmmaker, as he calls himself, you know, $30 for that, too much? That would, yeah, that's too much for the greens. And then also $200 is too much for this course. Everything costs too much here. When I lifted windshields for a living, I had those veins. However, I got mine by real work. Yes. Not steroids and greens in the gym. Don't look at those cute girls dude. You don't want to end up, looking at the girls and then you'll be over there just like, you don't want that. So I got some videos to get a feel for who is this Ken. He wants to be out here. He wants to give young men advice. I know. There's this whole thing out here about sticking up for men. I know. He's a privilege, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. Even if you are into feminism, which I don't call myself that, although I do believe in women's rights, but I'm more of a human rights person, okay? And even if you're all about feminism and you're out here complaining about how men are blah, 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 you should then be worried about the dudes out here like Kenny and what he is teaching the young men, okay? So it is also a feminist issue. I'm just bringing that up just because I've had some people get a little upset at me in the past. We looking for any reason we can to jump down my throat out here. And I'm saying, those of you who are SJW that want to come over here and you should also be worried about Kenny and these other men out here that are doing things like giving these men dating advice, how to pick up women, how to do no fap. This is how you should be a big, strong man. All of these people, very worrisome, especially for future generations. And I personally think we need to put a stop to all of them right now before they fuck up the men. A lot of people out here don't understand that toxic masculinity is actually when men are told to be a certain way in order to be a man. It is not when a man acts up and then a girl goes, oh my God, that guy is toxic. That's not what it is. I know, surprising. What it is people like Kenny here that sit on the internet and say, this is how you should be man. We act as caveman here. You sensitive men, you cry, you not real man. You do no fapping, you get strong. You know, like that. Not a good thing. So we have to kind of take a step back and go, all right, so we got this guy. He has almost 100,000 followers, right? He's in 80,000. That means that he has people that are following him. Way more than I do anyway. So we got to wonder and worry about all these young men that are following him. We're going to get into that. Ken says, does Kenny have a medical explanation behind his no-fap mantra? Because a lot of them do try to find one, right? So there usually is. And instead of asking me right now to explain it to you, why don't we just go ahead and dive in to these videos? Then
Provocative imagery and fapping,
you know,
at quite a young age. I remember getting home, and if I was lucky, MTV would be playing some kind of like rap music video with very provocative imagery of females. They be
oh, very provocative image of females, he said. You mean provocative like... I'm just gonna assume that it was like that.
looking mad plump. You know, I got my dish remote and I'm trying to pause it on the exact right frames. And then if you have Wi-Fi and you gain access to something like a tablet or a computer, you're exposed to the internet, which basically puts a 10x multiple on the extremity of adult content that you can find. I mean, even just the regular apps we use, like on my iPod, I had...
Wait, do you want these guys to fap or not fap? I feel like he started this video like, listen, you shouldn't be fapping, but here are all the ways that you can look up the stuff to do it.
iFunny, Instagram 9gag. If you did enough digging, you can come across some pretty erotic imagery. So this
is that why you deleted your Instagram? Were you coming across too much erotic imagery?
addiction got a hold of me very early on, and like a lot of men, straight off the bat, I didn't really know there was anything wrong with it.
You did not know that there was anything wrong with it. Well, what's wrong with it, Kenny?
Was and still is just a major lack of education in this area. Of course, you have parents and pastors and grandparents saying,
don't go to the pastor. Just please don't do that.
shouldn't do that because God. But as a young kid, that really doesn't hold up to all of a Western society embracing this propaganda that everyone does it, it's not bad for you, it's completely normal. It would certainly be a rare case for a parent to sit their child down and be like, listen buddy, if you indulge in those pleasures, it will feel good temporarily, but long term it's going to addict you and lower your dopamine baseline, which will destroy your motivation. It'll also negatively impact your social skills, mental, emotional health, cognitive function, sexual performance, and much more. But obviously that never happened.
So if you did not catch it there, Kenny here is claiming that if you fap, there are health things that can happen wrong. It will fuck you up with your health and also could fuck up you having future good sex, which I don't really understand unless you are fapping so much that you shave your penis, but maybe that's just me.
So by the time I became aware of the downsides, I was already deeply rooted in an addiction that has been rewiring my brain for years. So here are what I find to be the 5 core pillars of NoFap. These are the things that helped me break free from the stranglehold that such an addiction had on me.
Okay, so I think that right here we need to talk about addiction. Who better to do that than a recovered addict? Yes. So addiction is when you are doing something to the point that it is actually affecting your everyday life, your relationships, going to work, etc. It is affecting those things, okay? It doesn't mean that you just really, really like to do it, Kenny. Most people just really, really like to come, okay? Women too.
Number one would be finding your purpose. They say idle hands are the devil's workshop, and that was especially true for me. I simply had absolutely no purpose. So with all this free time devoid of purpose, I would just kind of default to the most stimulating, pleasurable action I could do. For a lot of
So men apparently just, when they're bored, all they do is just masturbate.
people, this alone may be the greatest factor, is that they are simply fapping to escape the lack of purpose they have in their life. I understand.
What if they're just fabbing because it feels really, really good and they just don't have a woman handy, or the woman that they do have is tired that evening and she says, "No, honey, not tonight. I'm real tired." Maybe that's why they're fapping.
This may sound a little
Very
too
serious
general,
stuff.
but that's the reason I put it in the number one, so we can kind of get through it. However, the reason I put this in here is because I do think it's one of the biggest factors in terms of people fapping all day. So what you can do is, if you are completely void of purpose, is to start broad, and then over time it'll kind of niche down into
Who out here knows their whole purpose in life? I mean, you can find a purpose, you can find hobbies, etc. But I feel like movements like this always act as if you need to know what your whole life purpose is. Otherwise, you're just out here fapping all the time, aren't you? And if you don't find some kind of purpose, you'll just shave your dick. It'll just be shaved
exactly
all
what
over.
you want to do, exactly what you think your life purpose
Unusable.
is. Number two, I find to be very useful, and that is understanding your antithesis. Doing this requires you to get extremely honest with yourself, and it gets pretty dark. Basically, envision the path that this addiction, this practice is bringing you down, and picture the worst case scenario. I mean, you really getting completely dependent, completely addicted. It's messed up your brain in so many ways. You've gotten to the point where your mental health is in complete shambles. You are completely dependent on this addiction. Your dopamine baseline is so low. You're defaulting to the most
Oh yeah, because every time that you fap, it steals more of your dopamine.
extreme forms of content to get anything up there. It is basically guaranteed suffering, and what you're doing is you're bringing that suffering into the current moment, which will
It's funny to me that this guy's like, masturbation, it will just give you pleasure for a second and then it will give you lifelong suffering. Don't do it, it's real bad.
help you in temporarily suffering in this current moment by abstaining from the thing that your mind and body wants you to do so very bad.
Why are you talking about fapping like it's heroin? It's a little strange.
Because you know that this temporary suffering avoids this long-term, much worse, much darker suffering. And on the flip side, you can also invert that and remind yourself of the long-term benefits of abstaining from fapping. Number three is shifting identity. This is, instead of viewing yourself as an
So there are men out here that literally just see themselves as men who fap. Like, they're like, my whole identity is that I sit in my room, I watch porn, and I fap. I am starting to understand what is wrong with society.
accepting
That
the
must be
identity
it.
of a masturbator, an addict. You shift it into someone who is driven by purpose, embraces discipline, who is oriented towards long-term goals instead of this temporary quick dopamine pleasure. To do this,
You're right. Going to the gym totally cures addiction. All you have to do if you're addicted to things, guys, is just go to the fucking gym and find your life purpose. And then you won't be an addict anymore.
you can utilize tools such as positive affirmations, journaling, visualization, as these methods of self-hypnosis, which will program your subconscious mind into slowly, truly adopting that identity, which will give you much more strength in combating the urges that are associated with a pornography addiction. Because don't be mistaken, even if you shift your identity, the urges will still come. So it's not going, I am someone who never gets tempted. It's going, I am someone who resists temptation. And you'll find that once this takes root into your subconscious, it will make you make unconscious decisions that push you more towards the goals and breaking the addiction.
Iconic says, hi, my name is Ken, and I am a certified fapper. Yes, I graduated the School of No Fap. It was given to me by Monty, Stories of the Interwebs.
Rather than now, you probably experience, you make some unconscious decisions that land you in situations that you are prone to relapsing. Number four.
He showed a cartoon bunny, right? That's what we, right?
Going, I am someone who resists temptation. And you'll
saw
find that
that,
once this
right?
takes root into your subconscious, it will make you make unconscious decisions that push you more towards the goals and breaking the addictions, rather than now you probably experience, you make some
There.
unconscious decisions that land you in situations that you are
Yep, that's the bunny. So is he a zoophile too? Now I'm really scared.
prone to relapsing. Number 4 is practice mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness and presence is essentially reverting to the default way of being. Instead of being this overstimulated, narrowly focused, constantly being bombarded by thoughts, mental state, you are instead a pulled back observer of consciousness. You know, the sights, the sounds, the thoughts.
Dude, this is deep.
You are the observer of this instead of the almost victim being attached to and attacked by all of it. As you practice
There are people out there being attacked by constant porn? Oh no, we must stop this.
mindfulness, you'll be able to catch these urges and these thoughts trying to pull you towards relapsing much quicker. And also, like I said, with this pulled back perspective where instead of it pops in and you're identifying with it and you're like, I'm the one saying that I should do this and I should relapse. You're observing the thought, but you don't identify with it. You're not giving it that power. You know that that isn't you. It is simply an appearance.
Yes, that is mindfulness. And it's also called the stop process. At least that's what we used to call it when I was going to school and working in social service work. But my thing here is that although some of the advice he's giving, when just given as life advice, you know, things like find a purpose, eat healthy, you know, don't let things take over your life, don't get an obsession. That's all good advice. But again, why is he giving this advice?
And consciousness, and it will pass. My personal favorite tool for this is meditation. It essentially taught me how to be present and mindful and has drastically improved my mental health in general. I'll include in the description a link to a guided meditation from me if you're interested in that.
There is a guided meditation from him. And yes, we will be reacting to it in future.
You can also try things like journaling down your thoughts, going on.
Imagine reading one of those journals. Like, okay, new one, 6 drops. Well, I have a new journal project for us. We are, of course, going to still do the bed skirt diaries and have Shaw do that. Yes. But now we also need the no fap journal, right? Like, dear journal, today I was walking down the street and there was a woman and she was wearing a skirt and the wind caught it at just the right time. And I think I saw a little bit of her booty and her underwear. And I ran home because the urge was so big. But then instead of touching myself, I just decided to write this journal entry instead. And now I am on hour 3 of NoFap. You know, it can be a lot of fun. Does doing sheep count as fapping? No, I think sex with anything is not fapping.
On walks, just basically destimulized from you're not listening to podcasts or music, as well as just in general throughout your day, trying to consciously remind yourself to pull back and take that observer form. This is going to allow you to slow down and simply allow everything to rest as it is in consciousness. The sights, the sounds, the sensations, the thoughts, which is kind of a form of meditation. This is essentially bringing mindfulness and presence into any given moment, which will be extremely beneficial.
Yes. Yes, dear diary, I was unwrapping my burger today and got a little too excited. I lost the game again. That sounds like Sudafed too.
When you're in those critical moments where everything in your mind and body is trying to convince you to relapse. So number 5 seems to be the most powerful tool. However, for me at least, personally, it was the...
Okay, I just want to point out, for you at least, you're the one that wrote this. Okay, this is all thought up and written by you from your experience with the NoFap movement. It's not like an encyclopedia of NoFap. that you've then put into a PDF file to make it like a TLDR to hand out. All of this is just stuff you sat down and wrote. And don't worry,
hardest to understand and utilize, and that is transmutation, sexual transmutation. Admittedly, while I try to practice this, I am no expert. However, I know that people such as Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich, is a huge advocate for this and attributes a lot of the success and creativeness and drive from this practice. I think there is actually a slew of highly successful men in the past that have used sexual transmutation as a tool to unlock this next level creativity, focus, thinking, drive, whatever. The main idea of this is that the human mind responds to stimuli, and through this it is able to ramp up into higher levels of vibration. I know that's
like Scientology teaches you that you don't use all of the parts of your mind. But if you do their programs, they'll teach you how to use 100% of it. And you will be smarter and better than everyone else. And probably be in a movie with Tom Cruise.
Sounds kind of wooey, but keep following me, because these higher rates of vibration are what we know as intense creativity, imagination, desire, focus, etc.
What about the people that maybe are the opposite and they feel passion and they get creativity and desire from love making and loving? What about those people? I'm just wondering, what are they supposed to do?
And basically there's this list of stimuli, there's things on it such as the desire for fame, music, auto-suggestions, and then negative.
You want me to give up music? Listen, I'll give up masturbating all day long, okay? I was fucking abstinent for almost 3 years when I was with my ex. Did not have sex for 3 years. And do I seem smarter? Better? More? No. Okay, but I am not giving up music. I'm not. I refuse. And I don't believe that that's true. There's been studies that actually say that people that listen to Mozart and stuff while they're studying have a higher success rate. There's different people that have different things that work for them. And this, again, is why all of this generalized advice is always kind of shit advice.
Stuff like fear, narcotics, the number one.
Well, yes, give up narcotics. I think we could all agree that would be a good idea.
Highest stimuli.
But do smoke weed every day. That's not considered one.
For the mind is the desire for sexual expression.
Okay, so number 2 is love. Hold on a second here. I know I have number 1 on here. Number 1 is the desire for sex expression. Number 2 is love. Just give it up. Just stop doing it. Number 3, a burning desire for fame, power, or financial gain. Money. Is that not what financial gain is? Anyway, I do think that if you don't have a burning desire for that, you'll do a lot better at whatever you do. Music. Again, never giving that up. Go fuck yourself, Kenny. Friendship between either those of the same sex or those of the opposite sex. So, all friendships then? You can only be friends with trans people. A mastermind alliance based upon the harmony of 2 or more people who ally themselves for spiritual or temporal advancement. I don't even know what that fucking means, okay? Number 7, mutual suffering, such as that experienced by people who are persecuted. Do you feel persecuted because you're in the no fat movement? We're doing this stream. I'm just wondering. Number 8, auto-suggestion. You're right, Joe. Joe just pointed out he can't fuck himself. That's why we're here. Number 9, fear. I do think that you should give up fear. Stop being afraid. Don't be afraid of anything. Don't be afraid of anyone. Fuck fear. And number 10, narcotics and alcohol, which again, yes. Please, if you are an addict, go and get help. There is help available for you.
Now, before I lose you, don't worry. I'm going to make this into something practical that you can understand and apply. As men
Are you sure about that, Kenny? I am not confident.
And we are by default wired for one of our main focuses and goals to be attracting a female and reproducing. And out of
That's not true. That is like this caveman theory that asshats like this guy just tell men. Okay, there are men out there. There's some men out there that don't really like women. What about the gay men? Are they just like missing that? Like, I don't understand. All humans want to have a connection, right? But to say that all men, like their main purpose is just to go find a woman? I guess that's how we have incels, Kenny. Thank you. Thank you for breeding more incels for us.
all driving factors, out of all stimuli, this is the strongest one. So it makes sense that when your brain kind of finds this hack to unlock that satisfaction and scratch that itch, that it becomes so addicted and will do anything to have you do that, to have you
Right? It's a little scary. Like you'll do anything to find anything.
relapse. And what we want to do is take that energy and turn it into creative, focused, productive energy. And
What if you're just not a creative person? That exists too. It is totally fine to have like more of a scientific mind, mathematical mind, logical thinking than creative. I'm just saying, there are different people in this world. Not all men be same, Kenny, and not all women be same, Kenny.
at the base level, it does kind of mean using getting women as motivation to work towards productive, positive things in your life. It's important that we don't confuse this with putting a on a pedestal. So what you do
This asshat just said, don't confuse it with putting a pussy on a pedestal. Well, he's telling men that if they don't fap, they will tap in to the 1% of their brain that they're not using. Can we just take a moment and appreciate the irony in that? Okay, that's long enough.
is you take that and you broaden it into imagining if the ideal woman, better yet, the top 1% of all women were watching your every move. You would want to
I would be fucking horrified. Be like, why are all these bitches stalking me, dude? Call the cops.
be the most ideal, most actualized version of yourself. You're not going to sit around jerking off all day. So what transmutation is just leveling up this energy. So
I do think that all human beings at all times should be working towards being the best version of themselves in every single way. I've said that before. But again, it's like the one thing about all of these guys out here that give this type of advice is their whole thing is don't put pussy on a pedestal. Like he said, literally said it, right? Don't just live for sex. So instead of just living for sex and wanting to get the girl, what you should do is you should go off, better yourself. Pretend it's for you, but it's really just to get the girl. But you're just going to trick your mind into believing that this is all great and you're growing and you're learning and you're, doing great just for yourself. But we all know it's actually to get the girl. So it's like, what?
it's this core thing of I want to beat off to maybe I want to attract women and get a date to I want to sleep with women to I want to attract a long-term relationship with the highest value woman I can. Even higher to that to I want to be the most ideal actualized version of myself to I want to achieve the most ideal perfect life I can. So while I'm
But again, all to get women. You notice how most of those had to do with to get women? It's bizarre. If you're living your whole life as a young man only to get women, I have to agree with him. Go find a purpose. That is not your purpose. You are here for better things.
maybe the core muse was this idea of like an ideal woman or a sexual interaction or whatever, you build off that into this grand scheme of just full self-improvement, honestly. Just
Wait, are asexuals just all geniuses then? I'm wondering, because based on these theories, that would suggest that people that don't have sex, right, or that don't need sex, such as asexuals, would then all be able to tap into that part of their brain. They would all be the best versions of themselves. Cool. We need to let believable know that.
Maxing out yourself and achieving the goals you want to achieve with that energy. You know, it's kind of like, think about those stereotypical hero stories where maybe he's like a loser and he has a crush on this girl, and then he goes on this life-altering journey into becoming the Giga Chad hero that has accomplished all these things and is...
Oh my God, he actually did say Giga Chad hero. Yeah, no, he said Giga Chad hero. It's sad, but he said it.
Drastically made his life and those around him better, and then he gets the girl, and it's like, yeah, he got the girl, but look at all of this good he caused for his own life. You took that core desire, transmuted it up, and used it to create a new reality for yourself, instead of...
So use women to get better life. Is that what we're saying? Also, this is like the script of every single teen rom-com movie from the US.
Making love to your hand, making love to a woman, you're making love to life. You are...
Wow, bruh. That was deep. Don't make love to your hand. Don't make love to a woman. Make love to life. Yeah, we need that on a t-shirt, man. Get some merch. I know an artist I can do it for you. Her name is The Shaw of Thirst. She's really good.
Wanting the best relationship with life as possible. This one is...
Because you're making love to it, right? You're over here, you're all like, yeah, life. And then life comes on, right? And life is all like... And, you know, you're just like, oh, life, you so sexy. You so sexy, I want to fap to you.
Definitely something I do need to do more research and introspection about. So if I ever get an even deeper and more fleshed out understanding of this, maybe I can make more content based off just the idea of sexual transmutation itself. However, I'd like to...
Could you not have like done some research on it before you just did a whole like 10-minute video where that was one of the main points? Where you told people to do it? So you're telling me you're out here giving this advice to young men, telling them to do this, but you have not researched this. Okay.
I think I gave you enough of an understanding to be able to start to implement that idea into your life and into your battle with desire and lust. If you'd like a PDF about the 5 pillars with all the main key points so you can have that...
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's a PDF.
That reminder easily to access on your phone or computer, there's a link in the description below. You'll also see the link to my fitness course if that's something you want to pursue and learn how to just perfect and optimize your fitness journey in terms of from training to supplementation to nutrition to mind.
And again, that's what we read at the beginning.
Set and more. If you're on the nofap journey, I think it's pretty safe to assume you want to become a more masculine male because it will allow you to both attract more women as well as just simply become more successful.
Ah, there it is. A more masculine male. But what does that mean? Right? Like, society puts a lot on women to be, you know, beautiful, to look like supermodels, blah, 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 blah. But then society also puts a lot on men to be masculine, hard men, right? Right. I'm going to go jump off my balcony as I play the rest of this now because I just did that.
Successful and fulfilled in general. So if that's you, click the video on the screen right now where I explain the 8 steps that I took to become more masculine. I hope this video helped you. That is all I got. Bye-bye.
Well, the video did not help as much as I wish it had, sir. It did not help as much as I wish it had. It was sort of fun, but you know, it could have been better, I think. You know, you could have researched You could have researched. So as you guys saw, there was a PDF file. A PDF file, right? And good. Believable. Get them all in there. Get them all. Get them all back. We don't want the footballs to go missing. I, of course, went and I downloaded this PDF, though. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. It is a whole 7 pages. The first page is just the cover page that he showed you during the video. Figure we could skip that. So, as you see, number 1 is purpose. Purpose. Idle hands are the devil's workshop. If you lack purpose in your life, your time will become filled with worthless pleasure. We are battling a primitive urge deep inside us. You know what? I feel like that's better. There we go. Even if we are unsure of the exact purpose we want to have, we can start broad and devote our free time and efforts into pursuing and further defining our purpose. Become goal-oriented. What does that mean? Who knows, right? He doesn't tell us how are we supposed to become more. Who cares? Number 2, antithesis. Imagine the worst case scenario of you continuing your addiction. You have become fully reliant. Your dopamine baseline is grippingly low. Think about all the suffering that lies in your future. If you continue down this path, you may become the worst, most unfulfilled version of yourself. And you may fap, and you don't want that. Feel that suffering. Feel it, damn it! Embrace the short-term, minor suffering of abstaining from the pleasure instead of the long-term, detrimental suffering. On the flip side, imagine the long-term benefits to your life as you continue to abstain. Like, okay, thank you. Number 3, identity. And yeah, we're on page 4. It's crazy long. Longest PDF I have ever had to read, guys. I am losing my mind. Number 3, identity. Reject the notion of viewing yourself as a masturbator. Are you a masturbator? An addict? Shift your identity and begin viewing yourself as someone who embraces discipline, one who is oriented towards long-term goals. You reject the temporary pleasure of quick dopamine releases. Utilize tools such as affirmations, journaling, visualization, and etc. as methods of self-hypnosis that will, over time, reprogram your subconscious mind. This will give you much more strength in resisting the urges and drastically improving your life. Because you want to make love to that life. Mindfulness. So, what the fuck is mindfulness? What is it? What the hell is it? Well, I am so glad that you guys have asked. So glad. Mindfulness is a type of meditation in which you focus on being intensely aware of what you're sensing and feeling in the moment. This is important. Without interpretation or judgment. Practicing mindfulness involves breathing methods, guided imagery, and other practices to relax the body and mind and help reduce stress. Spending too much time planning, problem solving, daydreaming, thinking negative or random thoughts can be draining. According to Kenny here, so can fapping. It can also make you more likely to experience stress, anxiety, and symptoms of depression. Practicing mindfulness exercises can help you direct your attention away from this kind of thinking and engage with the world around you. So, the one thing that I want you guys to concentrate on is the fact that it is supposed to be feeling in the moment without interpretation or judgment. So, one of the things that I was taught to do is ground myself. So, if I'm having, a trigger, or if I'm having an anxiety attack, I need to not have any shoes on, not have any socks on. I need to go to my wooden floor. I need to put both feet firmly on the floor of my house, sit in a chair, and practice some mindfulness and go, I am here. I am real. I am grounded. I am touching the floor. And I will do a whole thing where I'll list off a bunch of things I see, bunch of things I hear, blah, 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 blah. That is a form of mindfulness. What I am not doing is saying to myself, oh my God, I need to not have this anxiety attack. I need to not do, the triggers, blah, blah, blah. And I worry that this guy and him in his version of mindfulness that he's teaching, it does come with judgment, right? Because the only way that he wants you to do mindfulness is you're judging yourself poorly for wanting to fap. So I don't think that what he wants to say is mindfulness. And I'm a little bit upset that it's misconstrued in that way. So I just wanted to let people know what real mindfulness is so that they were aware, because it can be a very good practice if taught properly. The issue, as you know, is that we have asshats like Kenny here who want to teach it the wrong way. So if you are interested in mindfulness, make sure that you reach out to a doctor or a therapist and ask them to teach it to you properly. It is a very great practice that I myself use, as I'm stating. So what is Kenny's version of mindfulness here as number 4 on page 5 of his 7-page PDF? Shortest fucking PDF file I've ever downloaded. You guys know that's true, right? Because you guys know that usually on this channel, when I'm downloading PDF files, they're lawsuits, or they're these big, long anti-vax things written by Modern Alternative Mama, or etc., right? So, it's easier to smoke copious amounts of weed. Agreed. It's literally how I have kept from freaking out all day. That's how I keep from freaking out every day. My computer would want to do self-harm. Yes, it would smash itself to stop working if it could. So, what is this dude's version of mindfulness, right? Oh, we need our music. Get it together, queen. Worst streamer ever. Mindfulness. Begin to practice and strengthen the ability to pull back mentally and view consciousness from the perspective of the observer, which is what we truly are. Yeah, we're all just observers of our life, Kenny. Very good. Instead of narrowly focusing on and identifying with your thoughts, simply observe them as appearances in consciousness. Through practicing meditation, probably wants you to do his, like he said, you will fully learn how to do this. As you improve in the ability to, quote unquote, pull back, you will be able to catch and resist urges to relapse much more effectively. This practice will improve your mental health immensely. Mindfulness has improved my mental health because it has allowed me to tap in to, for example, figure out what the signs are of me getting triggered, so that I can then go, oh, hey, this sign's starting to show up. And then I can go to someone that's supposed to be my friend and say, this bitch says she's going to kill herself. I need you to take over, please. I can't deal with this. And then the whole internet cancels. Wait, why are we doing this again? Number 5, sexual transmutation. Transmutation. And I almost want to do like a deep dive into that now. Just because I think it's like an interesting concept, if you will. Out of all stimuli to drive the mind into a higher level of vibration. Quote unquote, of course. The desire for sexual expression is the strongest. Once one is able to control and direct this energy, is this a fucking superpower? Can I like set someone on fire with it? Because otherwise, this sounds weird. It becomes man's most powerful? The man's most powerful driving force. Imagine the most ideal women were watching your every move. You wouldn't be sitting around masturbating. I mean, how do you know? Okay, some guys get off on that. They like to be watched, apparently. You would be utilizing that energy towards becoming the idealized version of yourself and building an ideal life for yourself that you can then, of course, make love to. Transmute, quote unquote, the I want to fuck my hand drive higher and higher until you develop a relentless power towards fulfilling full self-actualization. Yeah, now he sounds like a robot, right? I understand this seems confusing. Confusing! I'm not confused. I'm just more like, this is all useless information for men. Like, they don't need to be doing this, and we'll get into that. Don't worry. And easier said than done. Consider looking into Napoleon Hill's words on the topic on YouTube or in his writing. So don't worry, Kenny. Don't worry. I will be. and page 7 is just a quote. Yep, it ends like this. You can't keep dancing with the devil and wonder why you're in hell. Kind of like how apparently you can't keep fapping and then wonder why you don't get laid. I guess. All right, so I'm sorry, I can't do this music anymore. Okay, I'm trying. So I of course went and took another little look-see to see what Kenny's all about, and I found a couple interesting things that I think we should also look at, like this.
Do it tired. If you're stressed, do it stressed.
Wait, I thought we weren't supposed to fap, Kenny. What the hell?
If you're afraid, do it afraid. Sometimes life just doesn't let our stars align, but please don't forfeit long-term goals over short-term states.
Okay, so don't forfeit long-term goals over so don't fap right now to get off and feel good for a moment, because as he said earlier, there's lots of bad things that can happen to you when you fap. We're going to watch it one more time again, and I'm going to shut the hell up.
If you're tired, do it tired. If you're stressed, do it stressed. And if you're afraid, do it afraid. Sometimes life just doesn't let our stars align, but please don't forfeit long-term goals over short-term states.
Okay, I mean, yeah. Again, this advice, not the worst. Just very cringy when it comes from somebody that wants to be an entrepreneur out here that's pushing some weird products and a fitness program, and then this no fat PDF and content. I'm just saying. So since Kenny here is all about the no fat movement, right? I wanted to see if I could find sort of like a video, if you will, of his view on relationships, his view on women. And I mean, the good news is I did.
Bye, babe. I'm going to the gym.
Or you can stay and cuddle with me.
No.
So, Kenny's here advice for young men is go to the gym and fuck women. Really great thing when you're the guy that's trying to tell guys to do better for themselves. I hope this is just a joke, Kenny.
Bye, babe. I'm going to the gym.
Or you can stay and cuddle with me.
No.
What? He's like, no, why the hell would I cuddle with a woman? I don't fap and I don't want to get laid either. Damn it. Okay. Fuck. So I think right now it'd be a really great time if we just took a small little break before we react to the last video that I have for us today. And then we are going to actually be talking about masturbation and masturbation addiction. So you're probably not going to want to miss that. So we have a little bit of a palate cleanser. It could be a penis cleanser. I told you not to fap for the stream, but I'm about to go to the bathroom, and whatever you do when I'm gone, I ain't controlling, okay? You do you, boo. You do you. We'll be right back after a message from my channel's sponsor. Wait, do you have a condom? You don't have one somewhere? Yes. Oi, excuse me there, sir. Do you have these directions?
Sure, you just go down that way and make a turn. Don't let her know that your dinger is almost a no-go. Get tiny dinger condoms to you discreetly. It's very important to choose the right size, so make sure that you get your tiny size. Don't be caught without a condom. No, no, no. Get tiny dinger condoms, a YouTube streamer's favorite brand. Located at your local CVS, pharmacy, Rexall, Shopper, Drug Smart, Walmart, and in your favorite streamer's nightstand. Now, back to our regular programming. The content on this channel has been brought to you by Tiny Dinger Condoms, a YouTube streamer's favorite brand. Now, these condoms don't only have straight couples in mind, but gay couples too. And they are ribbed for the pleasure of all the Joker fanatics out there. Have you got fed up of wanting to chase e-girls who look like this, but end up with e-girls who actually look like... Are you a father who refuses to pay child support because you can't afford a burrito? Maybe you found out your buddy gets turned on by your pic. So in full inceldom, you began a relationship with your bestie because both of you love diaper play and make a fabulous couple. These Tiny Dinger condoms has you two in mind and now comes in Dark Ninja size. Try it out with gay lovers and find out what the male G-spot is really all about. Get a pack of Tiny Dinger condoms, ribbed for his pleasure, with special anal G-spot locator. We know you'll be all about it. Located at Rexall, Shoppers Drug Mart, your local CVS, pharmacy, and hidden in your favorite streamer's nightstand because they're all the same. On sale for the holidays soon, so stay tuned. Now back to our regular programming.
And this time we actually are back to our regular programming. So I hope that everyone went to the bathroom and did all of the things that you need to do because we have a little bit left on here. So I want to react to one more video that I found. It's a very interesting one. And I think it's a good one to react to today, since today we are mainly focusing on Kenny and his no-fap movement propaganda. That's what I am calling it. Because it's not real information. Gotta catch them all. Thank God for my traps. Yes, for real though. It was genius, and I'm glad that you did that.
Self-pleasure before I was even 10 years old. And
Excuse me, Kenny, you started a second too late there. Let's rewind you.
I was already engaging in self-pleasure before I was even 10 years old. And granted, I didn't have access to the internet or I knew the proper methods, but I found a way.
Here's the thing. It is normal. It is normal for that to be the case. I feel like he's saying it like that's something that only he did or only addicts do. But most of us learned to touch ourselves. When I'm all alone at night, I touch myself. Sorry. Long before we enter our teens. It sort of comes with being actually right around the age of 5 and 6 when kids start discovering their bodies. It is all part of human development. And actually, sex is a basic need in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Yes, it is. So, that being said, continue on, Kenny.
While it is kind of funny to imagine little Kenny fucking a pillow, it set the
You're funnier than I thought you were. I mean, you did a little meme there of yourself. That was cute.
Stage for a majority of my life being an addict. And once I got things like a phone, a tablet, a Nintendo DS, that thing I did here and there became that thing I did basically every single chance I got. And of course...
But to be fair, that's what all teenagers and people in their early 20s do. I mean, women too. They act like it's only the men that found. No, women masturbate too. They masturbate, and not just for men, okay? How do you think we can tell you where to touch us if we don't touch ourselves? I'm just saying.
Of course, with the internet, you have access to any and everything your mind can desire, and even things you don't desire, but you stumble across it, and you kind of look into it, and oh no, now you have a fetish. So for the next almost decade of my life, I was
Okay, listen. He keeps on showing that same bunny. I'm kind of worried. I'm kind of worried that not only is Kenny here into the fitness stuff, into YouTube and being an influencer and an entrepreneur and selling fitness products like greens and promoting the no fat movement, I'm a little bit worried that you are into that bunny for real. Because you just showed it again and said now you have a fetish. Are you a Zuffa? I need to know. I need to know. He's a furry in his free time, I swear.
Very consistently
Right,
engaging in
Joe?
pornography and masturbation. Essentially, whenever I wanted, within a couple clicks, I had access to infinite pleasure without having to earn any of it. Fast forward to high school, I get into a serious relationship, and the urges are just as prevalent as ever. Of course, now that I'm in a relationship and have access, I'm getting urges for the real deal, but at the same time, my addiction to what the internet had to offer didn't go anywhere. There was a good period of my life where every time I would get on my phone and check Instagram or Twitter, my hand would just subconsciously, instinctively go in my pants, just
Okay, maybe you do have a problem, Kenny. Maybe you do.
in case. One that is just incredibly sad, but also it shows you how deeply embedded into my subconscious this was.
Because again, the sex drive, sex, basic need, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, doesn't make you an addict right away. Although I do have to say that if you can't look on your phone without fapping, then that might be a problem. But again, you got to be careful what you tell people out here.
Carried on for years and years of sexual addiction,
Iconic says never watch a kids movie with this guy, especially that fuck. I can't remember. Iconic, you also have children around the same age as my daughter. You'll know where that bunny is from. I know is it the Zoo movie? I for the life of me right now I can't think of the name, but we need to write Pixar and let them know. Yeah, it could be a zoo cell. Not another zoo cell. I just absorbed the idea of dog pilling. God damn you, Queen, and your fucking sociology lessons. This is why I stick to video games and animation. That's right. Also, Shadow, I'm sure you have no problem getting laid in real life.
Frustration and not being anywhere near the man I want to be. And honestly, it wasn't until somewhat recently that I've realized that there is a trait that I need to have in order to become the best version of myself that can achieve the goals that I've set, which will unlock the life that I want to live. And before we dive into it, I want to clarify that I am not special. There's millions of men with a story extremely similar to mine, and perhaps addictions and problems and lacks of discipline that are so far beyond what I struggled with. The worst.
Now, I am going to say this right now before we fully get into it. Masturbation addiction is not fully recognized as an addiction. It isn't in the DSM-5. However, sex addiction is being recognized. I'm not 100% sure right now if it has made it to the DSM-5, but there are actual rehab programs and the likes for sex addiction, and I do believe it made it in there. They were going to add it. So, I am wondering, is it a different addiction, right? Do you get a different addiction to sex, a different addiction to fapping? Because it's not the same thing, as we all know. So, would it be a different category, or would this constitute just under sex addiction? I'm asking. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on that. I'm wondering. Zootopia. Thank you. I was like, it's called Zoo something, and I can't come up with the name. And because I'm apparently an idiot, the only part of the word I was missing was topia, which now looking at the word, I'm like, good job, Queen. Good job. That's why you don't see me on here getting angry about women all day. Right, though? It's a little iffy. Iconic, you asked a really good question. You said, why are you telling the general public this, sir? And it's funny you asked that, because the thing is, I do feel like there is this whole hustle culture thing out here, right? Hustle culture is a thing. It's all like, be an entrepreneur, wake up really early, go and do workout, and do this, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like along with that culture, there's also influencer culture. Influencer culture teaches all of us that we should come on the interweb and then share our life stories. When you are even getting a YouTube channel, the courses you do in the back, they'll tell you to come on and talk about your life. Tell people about, the things you've experienced and try to advocate, especially. Have like a mission in mind. These are the things that you're taught even just back in the YouTube classes, for example. So one thing that happens out here with a lot of people, and especially people like him that want to be the type of influencer where they're giving like life advice and stuff, is they end up giving us their whole fucking life story. And they tell us everything. Like this young man here is telling us about how he started fapping before the age of 10 and became an addict, and that he can't even look at Instagram without putting his hand down his pants, which I hope nobody has to shake his hand anytime, ever in future, by the way. And it's like, dude, don't do that. But he chose to go down this path of, I'm going to be like Giga Chad teacher on here with the no fat movement and the fitness stuff and the products for the fitness to be a better man so that I can make love to life. You know what I mean? So I guess like, since that's kind of the type of influencer he wants to be, we all now have to hear these nightmare stories of this man fapping to porn all the time on his damn phone. It's like, thank you. Thank you so much. This is your purpose in life? For someone who talks about purposes in life, just saying.
This part is that society basically encourages it. Promiscuity is everywhere. Men are tricked into believing that pornography is completely normal, everyone does it, you should do it every day, it's healthy, and completely fail to mention any of the negative impacts it has on your mental. Spoiler alert, there's a lot, and there is an extreme lack of education.
The one thing I will give him is this is very true. Growing up, women are taught not to look at women in media and compare themselves a lot more than men are taught. What grade would I have been in? Grade 6 or something? We had this whole like media class where it taught us about like don't like know about airbrushing and don't look up to people and think that you have to look a certain way, be a certain way, blah, blah, blah. Men don't really get that. Men are not really told like, don't look at TV and see this fitness guy and then want to be like him and blah, blah, blah. And honestly, maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe we need to teach men that sort of thing as well, just as much as we teach women, right? Let me know what you think.
In regards to the slew of side effects that come from these addictions and these overindulgences of pleasure. The trait and the skill that myself and other men need is sexual discipline. And while yes, sexual discipline means abstaining from pornography and masturbation, it's much more than just nofap. Sexual discipline looks like a man that doesn't watch porn. He isn't thirsty for sexual engagement with random women. Now, it's a little tricky because I know in like the red pill, manosphere, men's self-improvement side of things, there's this idea of get as many bodies as you can, have as much sex as you can. That's what a high value man does. He attracts all the women and bangs them. But for a lot of guys that do that, they are still not exercising sexual discipline. They fold to any girl that's like a 5 and
Like,
above
what?
that is willing to put out on the first night.
Right? Anti-objectification training. How's that worked out? Yep, we don't know. It must be, it's working out just as good as gay conversion therapy, actually. Glad you asked.
Because sure, maybe they're on nofap, they're not fapping. They're essentially using the girl to fap. It's just this idea of, oh, we hook up for the night, we use each other as this tool of pleasure, and then we part ways, and that's that. And that is also not sexual discipline.
Men are taking mental notes of us in their brains so that they can go and fap to us later. Oh my God. We do it too, but I don't think we use men for that. I don't know if guys are actually out. That's just an incel thing, dude. That's not a guy thing.
Cultivating sexual discipline is when you consciously decide to abstain from the fapping, abstain from the casual sex, avoid putting obscenities within your view, avoid talking about certain conversations that are just the focus of lust and degeneracy.
Avoid watching channels such as Kenny's here.
It is simply mastering it and being able to direct it as you choose, not letting it direct and control you. And I know I talk.
See, and that's actually the danger of the incel, isn't it? Isn't it iconic? It really is. Because as you say, sometimes sustaining entirely makes the issue worse. All things within reason. Know your limits. And I mean, maybe we need better sexual education out here for our men. Maybe we need to start teaching them about masturbation better so that they don't end up on YouTube listening to a guy like Kenny here. You know what I mean? Shadow says, from my experience, the only time I ever do that is when I have a dream of a girl I met at some point and she just so happens to be in the dream. Yeah, I really don't think that men, it seems like a very bizarre, backwards way of thinking that men are having sex so that they have fat material instead of men are putting down fat material to have sex. I don't think that's a real thing. That's just an incel thing. Did incels come out of the straight edge kids? I wonder. Maybe. Could have been. To be honest with you, a lot of the incels, especially as you know, the gun cells that I come across, a lot of them are very, very strongly religious. And a lot of them ended up growing up with parents that would say to them, don't touch yourself or you're going to hell. And then they abstain. And then, as Iconic brought up, when you abstain entirely, you sometimes get angry and hate all women. And then you turn to Kenny here for no fap advice. Or you go hang out with Warhammer. You know, I guess whatever hits you first.
Talked about casual hookups, but I know that for most men, statistically, this means practicing semen retention because most men are sexless. However,
semen retention and not having sex don't come hand in hand, though. Because remember fapping, that thing that your whole channel's pretty much on? That releases it. Okay? Men have to release. If they don't, then they'll get blue balls. No, that's not true either. And again, just something that women are told when they're in high school to finish the dude off. I promise you. But there's ways. There's ways, Kenny.
Later in this video, I'm going to explain how that actually grants you access to better women, more sex, more attraction. But first, let me explain.
Seems like there's a lot of cults that revolve around unreasonable expectations of self-control. Pretty much all of them do, I would say. Even cults of personality. You're either controlling yourself or you're being controlled. And a lot of times the control is started by them giving you these expectations of self-control and advice, kind of like this. And then it leads you into that extreme way of thinking. Just stop that or you'll go blind. Is that what you were told?
The benefits of exercising sexual discipline.
From now on, it'll be 50 push-ups each morning, 50 pull-ups. There will be no more pills. There will be no more bad food, no more destroyers of my body. From now on, it'll be total organization. Every muscle must be tight.
I think that should hurt more.
What am I watching? What the fuck fuck am I watching right now? You just played, what was that, Rocky? And then we got, you're trying to look tough because the flame's not burning you? Maybe they should have fucking killed Kenny, damn it.
Oh, there it is. Perhaps the first benefit you'll notice is that you unlock so much more energy and focus because you are no longer consistently masturbating.
Do I want to be so focused that I get distracted by the light on my fucking desk and try to burn myself with it after staring at it for several minutes with my hand on it? Halfway through a video I'm making? I don't think that's a good idea. Yeah, we don't. None of us need this.
You are no longer sedated.
I don't need a bunch of angry, sex-deprived men roaming these streets. And the sad thing is that some of them have committed some murders recently. I'm sure you've seen it in the news. They say incel man. It's a thing. Shadow says, a sex ed teacher told me that masturbation helps boost your stamina in a way. And another thing that stuck with me is that if you can't make yourself orgasm, then you might as well not have sex. It's a very true thing. I mean, that's the case for women. Let's be real. It's a lot harder to get a woman off than it is to get a man off. I know, I've been with both. And, you know, women, we have different spots you got to touch and you got to know how to do it, okay? We have different spots down there. Remember, there's 9 of them. I know you guys know them anyway. So basically, if a woman is not familiar with her body, at least, it would be very hard for her, especially, to then give instructions, because it's okay for a woman to give man instructions, okay? Men, if you're out there, you're with a new woman, ask her what she likes. Say how you want me to do this. Do it. Do it right. Ask her. She'll tell you. That's what we're here for. We know that we're more difficult, right? With a man, it's pretty much up and down, up and down. You're good, girl. If you can move up and down, you good. All right? Learn how to move the mouth that way and take it down the throat and learn how to balance a bit. You'll probably be okay. But with us, right, there's some extra stuff to do. So, and again, like Joe just said, I have the key to my wife's lock. Most of us women have a certain way we like to be touched. So again, men, ask us and we'll tell you. Or at least try to figure it out or something, right? That's some good sex advice for you out there. So technically, like, yeah, and I'm assuming maybe even for the guy, you know, do you like it fast? Do you like it slow? Do you like a tight grip? Do you like loose grip? Do you like, there's some things that girls could know that you would then have to tell the woman, you know? And so if you can't figure those things out on your own for yourself, you won't be able to tell somebody else how to do it to you. And I think all of us are under the impression that if we, go and masturbate before sex, then it helps with stamina. Not 100% sure if stamina is the right word to use. In my case, I'll come more, okay? It opens the door, it happens, and then I am ready to go 500 more times in a row. Yes, women can do that, okay? And I've heard a lot of men that say that they will often do it before a date, okay? Because they're going to go out and apparently they can last longer. But again, that's another thing that a man would have to then fap to find out about himself. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, self-discovery with your body, very good. Thank you, Iconic, for becoming a YouTube member. I appreciate that.
Think about it. Your most primal drive is being ramped up. It's being unlocked.
Yeah, this is Rocky, right? I'm not insane. I'm pretty sure this is the Rocky movies, which, okay, yeah, strong dude to show, I guess. But not everybody is like this. And this, again, this is toxic masculinity. This whole thing, if you aren't some big buff guy in a gym punching a punching bag and laying a bunch of bras, then you ain't no man. That's toxic. Not toxic angel, it's just toxic.
harnessing it. And you'll reach a point where you're able to take that sexual energy and convert it into your work, into the gym, into creativity. And while that's all a little more mental, you will definitely notice a physical.
You showed yourself in a pool flexing when you said creativity wasn't what I was thinking. You could have showed yourself editing your YouTube video. That is honestly a lot more creative than going swimming and flexing. Good. I didn't want to look like an idiot more than I already do out here on a regular basis, Joe. So thank you for letting me know that I didn't forget at least that movie's name.
Boost as well. You are no longer granting yourself these hour-long, extraordinary dopamine releases, as well
Hour long? Jesus Christ, there are men out here fapping for it. Maybe that could be the problem.
as you're not getting those spikes in prolactin post-nutting, which you probably know is that, oh, wow, I don't want to do anything at all, blah. So not only do you have that sexual.
Is that like that feeling of wanting to cuddle after sex? Is that what he's talking about? Or like sleeping? I had to tell my husband that we can't have sex in the mornings anymore because I just pass right out afterwards, probably before even he does. I know men are known to roll off and pass out. That's kind of a funny joke that a lot of us women kind of make with each other, especially if we've been married a long time. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Right, Joe? Iconic does. I know she does. So, you know, that happens. I pass out. First thing in the morning, have sex. I'm done. I'm going back to bed. We just can't do it. Unless it's a weekend and I have nothing planned for the day. Not a good idea. So is that what they're talking about?
Energy that you can learn to transmute and redirect towards other things, but literally your brain's dopamine
Just
baseline will rise, which means your default level of drive and motivation for life is going to increase. And then you will start to notice a drastic increase in confidence. You are conquering a part of yourself. You are proving.
That's because your Korean friend's probably actually making a lot more sense than this guy ever is. Even if you can't understand. I agree. A lot of this is, again, just toxic masculinity. This is how to be a man. More bad advice. And again, I've spent a lot of time on this channel talking about bad advice given to women. Bad advice, you know, of influencers for women. So lately I've been looking at bad advice given to men. And it's honestly been almost more funny, I have to say.
To yourself.
I feel like you guys almost get way more bad advice than we do. Like, we have some women out here, right? That do this kind of thing, right? Like, it exists, but nowhere near the amount of the men. Like, I feel like, honestly, every time that a man logs on YouTube, he's probably bombarded with like 10 of these dudes at all times. Honestly, like, I can't really think of any time that I have gone on the platform here and then been bombarded with a bunch of women trying to tell me how to go out and meet men. And I know that the incel will say, well, that's because women don't need that type of advice. But then I say, but men don't need that type of advice. And do know that if there are men out here like this, giving you this advice, it's not to help you. It's not for you at all, actually. And it doesn't do anything for us women. We actually hate all of them. We'll watch their videos and tell you it's awful advice. All these guys want to do is make money. They want to rip off the incels. And I know we make fun of the incels here too. But we also have to think we don't want them to get ripped off. Just like when I talk about Christianity. Just like when I did my video on paganism and Wiccan. And I said, yes, there are some cults. And that's why we need to talk about it. So that people that believe this know to look out. Right? And my whole thing is, if there are men out here that are, heading towards the inceldom, they should also be aware that these people are not who they should be looking up to. These people are just making products, making these fucking PDFs and all this other crap that they're giving to these young men out here to say, this is how you get girls. They just want your money. It's no better than some bitch trying to sell me LuLaRoe leggings. I promise. So that's what we've been doing. You know, that's what we've been doing.
That you are stronger than the most powerful force in us biologically. That is such a monumental win that win alone will probably give you such a boost.
No, see, and that's a good point. This isn't masculinity, right? This is some warped, misogynistic version of it that is wrapped in a pretty bow of toxic masculinity. And that's what I mean. Like, I do worry about the younger generations of men out here when we constantly have things like this pumping out at them. It's like, we got to stop this because this is not what being a man is. Any advice that this guy's giving you? Wrong.
In your self-image, and it will just raise your identity to the next level. You are going to
He just went from incel to Giga Chad, and it wasn't ironic. It was completely unironically.
be much more sure of yourself in other endeavors. You're going to be much more confident in general, and that's proven to make you more successful with basically anything in life. So with this newfound sense of energy and focus and drive, coupled with all this confidence that you've just unlocked, you're going to find so much more success in any endeavors. And
again, great advice to go work on yourself and be the best person you can be. And the more you work on yourself, yes, the more people you'll meet that will be, you know, someone that you'll jive with better, even in terms of friends, right? You always want to try to be the best version of yourself. Be around people that also want to be the best versions of themselves. Do that. Again, though, not for the no fat movement, not to pick up women, not to make love to life. This guy's a little strange with it.
Fitness and business and relationships, all because you have cultivated this trait and skill of sexual discipline. And because of that, you will attract women. So first off, discipline in general is attractive to women. I mean, when they see a impressive physique, they think of the discipline in the gym. When they see financial success, career success, they see the discipline that took.
No, it's not Elon Musk that we think of. I can assure you of that.
And when they notice that you're more masculine and more stoic, as in you're not as controlled by your emotions, they see the discipline in controlling your emotions. So naturally, when they can sense that you're not...
You think Joe Rogan controls his emotions? Oh, Lord, now we are definitely seeing what the problem is here.
Thirsting over them, they pick up on the sense of sexual discipline. And obviously, in general, when you don't come off as overly thirsty or desperate for sex, which is huge turnoffs for most women, that alone is going to make her more interested in you. And I know...
Do you see how this advice is all actually about getting women? Like, it's like he says, don't try to get women. Instead, go work on yourself. But if you work on yourself, guess what? You'll get the women. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude.
You're thinking, oh, but there are women that would be interested in that kind of behavior. Yes, but these are not the women that you want to attract, because these women also lack sexual discipline, and that's going to result in most likely a relationship that you don't want to struggle with. A lot of body.
They'll lack sexual discipline. What a weird concept. He's like, the girls that you'll get right now, they're not the ones you want. Go work on yourself and get better girls. Damn it.
Also, nowadays, women are so used to all the men that lack any sexual discipline that when you come along and you don't throw yourselves at their feet, one, that's just going to make her attract you in general, but also it's going to kind of play on her insecurities. Like, why is this guy not throwing himself at me? What's going on here? Am I lacking something? Does he have an abundance of something? So that...
Yes, in order to get a woman, you should play on her insecurities. Yeah, no, great advice, Kenny. Yeah, keep going.
That will add to your intrigue alongside the tension, the anticipation that is going to make women desire you even more because you're giving them the room to. And a man that displays sexual discipline.
The room to? This guy makes me want to go lock myself in a fucking panic room.
And to a woman shows that they're coming from a place of abundance, whereas a guy that's coming off super thirsty, almost desperate, is obviously coming from a place of scarcity. Also, in the whole nofap semen retention scene, everyone seems to notice that when you start getting consistent with that, whether it's the subconscious manifestation of the confidence and the energy or whatnot, regardless, there is this aura about you. I know it sounds kind of weird, but there are just countless cases of guys who get a streak going on semen retention. They're like, dude, it's like girls just can't stop staring at me. And sure, that's definitely complicated.
You know what's great though, Kenny, is that you can have all of that
And still have fun fapping.
Sorry, I was getting all excited there. But yeah, not excited like that. Don't get that mind out of the gutter and now put it back in, because that's what we're talking about.
With the guy engaging more eye contact, displaying more confidence, but still, it happens. And finally, you have to understand that once you gain this trait of sexual discipline, you are a much better version of yourself. So by default, you're attracted.
Again, I'm not understanding why people have to give up sex or fapping in order to be a better version of themselves. We are definitely diving into this.
More women, more opportunities, better opportunities. Because in a lot of ways, it's essentially a new you. But you have to understand that if you have the big goals, if you have this awesome life that you want to achieve,
and you got the big cock. No, just joking.
You have to become the person that can achieve that. And if you lack sexual discipline, most likely you can't. Click this video on the screen right now if you want to learn the 5 pillars of nofap. These are crucial if you truly want to break free. And that's all I got for you.
I got a PDF
I hope you learned something. I hope you're inspired. Bye-bye.
I'm inspired to go jump off a bridge. Does that count as inspired? Like, at all? All right, so I decided to do a little bit of research, because that's also what we do here just for fun. Health benefits of masturbation. Yes. Masturbation may reduce stress and relieve tension. Masturbation has many physical and mental health benefits. Few studies focus specifically on the benefits of masturbation, but research suggests that sexual stimulation, including stimulation through masturbation, can reduce stress, release tension, enhance sleep quality, boost concentration, elevate mood, relieve menstrual cramps, alleviate pain, improve sex. What do you know? Masturbation has also been identified as a strategy. Hold on here. That's better. Has also been identified as a strategy to improve sexual health by promoting intimacy, exploring self-pleasure, desires, and needs, reducing unwanted pregnancies. Right? You masturbate instead of having sex. Just saying. Preventing sexual transmitted infections, STIs, and HIV transmission. Individuals who choose to abstain from sex or who do not currently have a sex partner may often masturbate as a sexual outlet. Masturbation also has sexual health benefits, specifically for older women, such as less vaginal dryness and decreased pain during sex. Some people may feel embarrassed, guilty, or ashamed when talking about fapping, but fapping is normal, healthy, and not something to feel guilty about. It will not lead to blindness at all or cause physical and mental health problems. In many cases, masturbation has more health benefits than adverse effects. Masturbation is usually only a problem if it begins to interfere with daily life and relationships with friends, family, co-workers, and romantic partners. In those circumstances, it may be helpful to speak to a healthcare professional, especially a sex therapist, which, by the way, exists. So again, I strongly recommend going to a sex therapist. Don't listen to me. I'm not a doctor. I am a social service worker, but I'm not a doctor. Okay. I'm not really a therapist at all right now. Don't listen to me. If you feel like that is getting in the way of your everyday life, as I said, and as they said, has to be in the way of relationships, blah, 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 then seek therapy. Don't go and look up Kenny NoFap on the internet, okay? Please, men of the world, talk to a therapist instead of the incel.is Discord or website as well. Please. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a sperm. I'm sure you are very aware with what a sperm looks like. In case you're not, it also looks like this. That's what they actually look like, though. So this is a sperm. Sperm is a male reproductive cell that is responsible for fertilizing a female egg, or just being released on the floor if you're fapping, you know. It is produced in the testicles and released during ejaculation. Each human sperm is composed of a head, midpiece, and tail. It's a whole body, damn it! The head contains genetic material, including the father's DNA, while the tail helps the sperm move through the female reproductive tract, which again can look like this. Yeah, you know, kind of like that. Then it says, how often should men release sperm? Okay. There is no one-size-fits-all answer to this question. The frequency of ejaculation varies among individuals and can depend on factors such as age, sexual activity, overall health. In general, a healthy man can release sperm as often as he wants without any negative health effects. However, excessive ejaculation could cause temporary fatigue or discomfort in the genital area. That's why I make jokes about you shaving your penis, you know. Normal frequency, again, there isn't one. There's no set number of times that a man should release, or not release, by the way, sperm in a given period. The frequency of ejaculation depends on various factors, including age, overall health, etc. The same, right? Some may ejaculate several times a day, while others may go several days or even weeks, months, years without ejaculating. Generally, men tend to ejaculate more frequently when they are younger and less often as they age. And if your PP stops working as you age, you can always get a little blue pill, Ben. Don't worry. This website goes into all kinds of information. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about is it says effects on sexual health, positive effects, improved sperm quality. So it says studies have shown that daily ejaculation can improve sperm quality. Frequent ejaculation results in fresher sperm as older sperm cells are replaced with new ones. This, of course, can be especially beneficial to couples that are trying to conceive a baby. A dingo ate my baby. Sorry, I don't know what happens to me, okay? I'm fucking weird. So, reduce risk of prostate cancer. So yeah, the more you fap, the less chance you will have of getting cancer, men. That's good to know. Research suggests that frequent ejaculation may lower the risk of prostate cancer. So fap as often as possible. A study conducted by the Harvard Medical School found that men who ejaculated 21 times or more per month had a lower risk of developing prostate cancer than those who ejaculated fewer times. In other words, guys, fap once a day and you'll be okay. Negative effects. Sexual exhaustion. That's the only one for this. Engaging in sexual activity or masturbating daily can lead to sexual exhaustion. This can manifest in a decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, or a lack of sexual interest. It's essential to find a balance between regular sexual activity and giving your body time to rest and recover. The effects of mental health: reduce stress. Sexual activity, including ejaculation, can help reduce stress by releasing endorphins and other feel-good chemicals in the brain. This can promote relaxation, improve mood, and enhance overall mental well-being. And improve sleep. Ejaculation is known to release oxytocin and prolactin. Those are hormones that can help induce relaxation and sleepiness, which is why when me and my husband have morning sex, I pass out afterwards. This can lead to better sleep quality, which is essential for overall health and well-being. The negative effects. What is the only one there? Anxiety and guilt. And again, that can come from being religious. I have heard a lot of people say that, that they grew up in very religious households that taught them to feel guilt about that. Thanks for stopping by, Shadow. Have a fabulous night. Thanks for being here, Joe. Have a fabulous night. We're almost done anyway. It's okay. You only get 6 a month? Oh my God. Got to get more. So I find that this one is usually connected to religion, and so do they, apparently, by the way. It's not just me that thinks this. Some individuals may experience anxiety or guilt associated with daily ejaculation, particularly if it's through masturbation. This could be due to cultural or religious beliefs or personal convictions, like being a part of the no-fap movement. It's essential to address these feelings and understand that sexual activity is a natural part of human life. And this is why people like Kenny acting as if it's like this awful thing that people should not be doing is bizarre. It's bizarre. Effects on physical health. It boosts your immune system. It improves cardiovascular health. I'm not going to read the whole thing. You'll be bored as fuck. But what is the negative effects? Physical exhaustion. Again, it's just the same one. Effects on relationship. Positive effects is enhanced intimacy. And that's less about fapping and more about sex, by the way. Increased dependency is the negative effect. It says, daily ejaculation may lead to an increased dependency on sexual activity for emotional or mental relief. This can create an unhealthy reliance on sex and potentially strain relationships. Then they say, releasing sperm daily can have both positive and negative effects on a man's physical, mental, and sexual health. While there are several benefits to frequent ejaculation, it's essential to maintain a balance and give the body adequate time to recover. So, Kenny, this is the advice that you should actually be giving to people. I'm going to post this, of course, in the side chat here. Because this is really the one that breaks it down. Shadow says, one more thing before I go, though. Never forget to keep the tip from getting too sore. You'll feel it for hours. Advice from Shadow about your peeing. So, I just feel like this is better advice, Kenny. This is what you should be saying to people. Instead of going, don't fap, it will give you superpowers and turn you into a very masculine man. It should be more like this. Be honest. Give the real information, It's also crucial to address any feelings of guilt or anxiety surrounding daily ejaculation and engage in open communication with one's partner about their needs and desires. Ultimately, every individual is different, and it's important to find a routine that works best for one's overall health and well-being. Then they have 5 tips for a healthy balance. Tip number 1, set boundaries. Establish personal boundaries for sexual activity, taking into account your physical and emotional needs as well as the needs of your partner, if applicable. It's essential to maintain open communication with your partner to ensure mutual satisfaction and understanding. Practice mindfulness. Incorporate mindfulness techniques such as meditation or deep breathing exercises into your daily routine to help manage stress and anxiety. This can also help reduce dependency on sexual activity for relaxation and stress relief. Maintain a healthy lifestyle. Adopt a healthy lifestyle by engaging in regular physical exercise, eating a balanced diet, and getting enough sleep. A healthy lifestyle can improve overall well being and ensure that your body is well prepared for sexual activity. See, that's how you tell the young men to get physical exercise and eat nutrition. Anyway, seek professional help if necessary. If you experience ongoing difficulties with daily ejaculation, I made up a whole new word, ejaculation, such as sexual exhaustion or feelings of guilt and anxiety, consider seeking professional help. It is available. A therapist or counselor can provide guidance and support to help you work through these issues and develop a healthier relationship with sexual activity. Right? So I just feel like that's better information to give out here. I really do. I do. Boys are wild, aren't they? They are wild. So I have to go check on the little one. We're going to have a really, really quick break. And then we are going to talk about masturbation addiction. Because I think that we need to end this just kind of talking about people that are addicted to masturbation. I don't want to say it's not a thing, because I'm sure it does exist out there, as all addictions exist. You could essentially be addicted to anything, right? Anything that you do in excess that is actually messing with your life, influencing how you can live, influencing relationships, job, etc., can be an addiction. And therefore, masturbation can be an addiction. It's just, do you solve that addiction with the no fap movement? And we're going to talk about that in just a second. Excuse me, sir, you were supposed to be under my floorboards. But thank you for the pop. So, we are going to discuss masturbation addiction. As I stated, you can be addicted to anything. You can even be addicted to food, right? A lot of people say that Foodie Booty is addicted to food. I think Shani might have pica. But she could be addicted to food. Addicted to drugs, probably. You can be addicted to alcohol. You can be addicted to anything. There are some people that claim I'm addicted to the freaking internet. So you can technically be a masturbation addict. And I think if we're going to discuss this whole no fap thing, instead of us just going, no, you cannot be addicted to masturbation, it's impossible, fap away. I know I joke and say fap away and blah, blah, blah. But we do have to say, yeah, it is possible. But let's talk about it. So, what is it? I mean, that's a good place to start, right? The term masturbation addiction. Oh, hold on. I'm going to drop the link for this one too. In case you guys want to follow along, I shall put the link to this. This is Healthline. And it is a whole overview of the masturbation addiction. So it says, the term masturbation addiction, quote unquote, is used to refer to a tendency to excessively or compulsively masturbate. And I mean excessively and compulsively. It has to actually, like, you know, mess with your everyday living. Here we'll explore the difference between compulsion and addiction and review how to recognize habits that may be considered problematic, reduce or eliminate unwanted behavior, know when to talk to a mental health professional. You will notice that nowhere on here does it say we are going to review how to go and look up Kenny Fitness no fap. We are going to review how to go to YouTube and look up how to meet women. That's not what it says. It doesn't say we're going to review how to do the no fap movement to help your addiction. Okay? No one in the medical field would tell you to do that. So is it really an addiction? There's some debate around whether you can truly be addicted, quote unquote, to masturbation. Although there's been a push to medically recognize masturbation addiction, which we have to wonder if the push is from the no fap movement, some say it should be recognized as a compulsion, not an addiction. There's no clinical diagnosis for masturbation addiction. Again, though, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's not recognized as addictive by the American Psychological Association, APA. But all it would take would a bunch of people being addicted to it for it to get recognized. So it's kind of like a gray area. Masturbation addiction also isn't recognized as a mental health condition by the recent edition of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, which sets the criteria for diagnosing mental health conditions. Trevor, you can come out of the floorboards. Your microwave's beeping. I don't want them to think it's the fire alarm again. Similarly, some don't consider sex addiction a clinical addiction. Instead, sex addiction, masturbation addiction, and porn addiction are usually referred to as compulsive sexual behavior, hypersexuality disorder, out of control sexual behavior, OCSB. Hypersexuality disorder is a real thing. So if you are someone that can be addicted to masturbation or who possibly is, you could have that. And that is why it's important to seek medical attention. What does it look like? Frequently masturbating doesn't mean you have a problem or addiction. Like I've been screaming out into the void for the last year. Generally speaking, there's only cause for concern if you feel your behavior has become excessive or obsessive. And this is kind of like an example of what that would look like. So here are some signs of what a masturbation compulsion might be. So masturbating takes up a lot of your time and your energy. Your homework or personal life is suffering because of masturbation. You might be late to meetings, cancel events, or leave social appointments early to masturbate. You masturbate in public or in uncomfortable places because you can't wait to get home. You masturbate even when you don't feel aroused, sexual, or horny. Which, are those not all the same thing? Anyway, I guess sexual isn't this, but horny and aroused, is that not? Anyway. When you feel negative emotions such as anger, anxiety, stress, or sadness, your go-to response is to masturbate for comfort. You feel guilty, distressed, or upset after masturbating. You masturbate even if you don't want to. Now that would be a little worrisome, right? And you find it difficult to stop thinking about masturbation. If you want to stop masturbating, or if you want to masturbate less, you may find it helpful to talk to a therapist. Then they say what causes it. Masturbation has a number of health benefits. It can help you de-stress and lift your mood. If you're under a lot of stress or if you have a mood disorder, you might use masturbation to relax and feel better. This isn't wrong in itself, but you might become obsessed with chasing the high of an orgasm. This could lead to masturbation that becomes problematic for you. May lead, could lead. Doesn't necessarily mean that if you start kind of chasing the high of an orgasm, that you're addicted. And that, I feel like the no fap movement kind of just puts that out there. Like, oh, you like porn? You're an addict. Do no fap. Great. Compulsive sexual behaviors might also be neurological, as Mayo Clinic points out. An imbalance of natural brain chemicals and neurological diseases like Parkinson's might lead to compulsive sexual behavior. However, more research is needed. Other research in animals suggests behavioral addictions might alter the brain's neural pathways, similarly to substance use disorders. This may lead you to want to do that behavior more often, like masturbate. Again, if you're doing anything all the time excessively and it's taking over your life, it can be an addiction. Can you stop on your own, or should you see a professional? I feel like this is some of the most important information. I thought he was missing. Where's Trevor? Under the couch cushions? Behind the tree touching grass? Maybe he's under the rug. I told him he could come out from under the floorboards to grab his food, you know. So this is what I mean, though. Like, please, out there, if you do feel that you are possibly addicted to masturbating, seek professional help before you go and look up on YouTube how to solve this. Do not use Dr. Google, damn it. So it says some people do find that they're able to stop compulsively masturbating on their own. Hopefully not using the fucking no-fap movement. However, other people may stop without support and professional help. If you're struggling to stop masturbating, you may find it helpful to see a sex therapist. That is literally a real thing that you can seek out. Ideally, one who specializes in treating out-of-control sexual behavior. There are also support groups for sex addiction that you can join, or support groups for hypersexual behaviors that can help you. What treatment options are available? You can get therapy, support groups. There is no real medication for treating compulsive masturbation, but of course, like how there's no medication just for treating complex post-traumatic stress disorder, there is medication for the symptoms, if you will. So compulsive sexual behaviors are sometimes related to underlying mental health conditions, or that it can also cause depression, anxiety, or you could just have depression, bipolar disorder, or anxiety disorder, or an array of other disorders. In these cases, prescription medication could help with compulsive behaviors. It's like they do have medication, for example, for OCD that can help with compulsive behaviors. That medication could also help here. But it is not like a pill that actually says for sex addiction. You know what I mean? Like how some pills say for depression, for anxiety. What if it's left untreated? Then you end up being Kenny Fitness NoFap there, I guess. Or Warhammer. No one wants that. Compulsive behaviors may worsen over time. This could put a strain on your relationships. including your romantic and sexual relationships, as well as your mental health. This in turn could lead to lower sexual satisfaction and self-esteem. If you're concerned about a loved one, please remember that all people masturbate at some point in their lives. Regular or frequent masturbation isn't necessarily a sign of a problem. Again, the behavior has to affect relationships, work, school, mental health, etc. And there is advice on that. Then they say here the bottom line. Okay? No matter whether you call it an addiction or compulsion, it's important to remember that the behavior is treatable. Does not make you less of a man. You don't have to stop masturbating to become more of a man, okay? That's all silly. A trained therapist can work with you or your loved one to overcome unwanted behaviors and improve your quality of life. Because again, that's what it should be all about, your quality of life. And speaking of quality of life, how much of a quality of life are men having if they're abstaining from sex and masturbation, trying to be some kind of weird, higher version of themselves in order to get with women, okay? And my answer is probably not good. You know, it's you don't want to be doing that at all. So, when it comes to quality of life, I am sure that most men would need to have some form of sexual release. As I pointed out, it is a basic need. It is on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And therefore, as I keep pointing out, the no fap movement and this whole like, this is how you meet women movement and all this crap is all bullshit. And we're going to keep pointing that out as time goes on. That is all I have for all of you today. I'm sorry I kept you for 2.5 hours talking about how this no fap fitness king here thinks that no one should masturbate and then diving into masturbation. Because again, Kenny, that's how you give proper advice. That's how you direct people on masturbation addiction. You don't tell them to do a no fap movement in order to get girls. Going forward, I think we should dive into this whole concept of how abstaining from sex or fapping is going to make these men a higher version of themselves. Because I just find it interesting. Shut up, Queen. Okay. I have OCD. They can help people with those compulsions. Exactly. And that's what I mean. If you have OCD, you're probably taking some of the medicine that these guys would take to help with that. But again, there is no like pill specifically for OCD, right? There is just meds to take. Just like, you know, I feel like the only thing they really have pills specifically for in terms of mental health is like anxiety and depression, right? It's all for symptoms for the most part. There isn't like a borderline personality pill or anything like that. We just take pills out here for our symptoms, all of us with mental health issues. Where's Trevor? He's under the floorboards. Damn it, I gotta move him later. Don't tell them. So, I do think in future, we are going to dive into this guy's fitness course. I want to do that separately because I think that it's more of like an MLM-y, businessy type video. And I don't want the no fap in with that. I'd like to do it separate. And I also want to look at this whole like no fapping to be the best version of yourself. Hey, Joe Rogan does it, and therefore I want to do it too. That Kenny brought up here. I think that's an interesting concept. And again, I want to disprove a lot of these weird extreme beliefs, if you will, because that's what we do here. We talk about extreme beliefs. Funny ass communities, usually cults of personality, cults, scams and businesses and bad things, influencers too. And we're going to keep going. So stay tuned for all of that in future. And No matter where you are, what you're doing, I hope that you all have a fabulous rest of your evening. Take care. Make sure that you fap. And I will see you all very, very soon with another one. I know some of you might be upset about that, but oh well. Mwah! Bye! I gotta go bury him somewhere else now. I'm probably gonna fap first. Yeah, I know, right? Wow.